is brought to you by ASTRO, Monster Energy, Corsair, Zowie, and Intel.
It is time for the Swedes to take the Swedish stage here in Jönköping. It's a magical time for them once again. Fnatic will be taking to the stage in front of the home crowd. It is DreamHack Open, DreamHack ASTRO Open to be more specific, and it's one of the staples of not only Counter-Strike scene, but the Swedish Counter-Strike scene. They now play against their North American adversaries, Cloud9, here for both 100,000 and that beautiful trophy. Lots of pride on the line as well. Hi, I'm your host, Machine. Not particularly mechanical, as you can tell. Keep forgetting it's the DreamHack ASTRO Open. ASTRO Open. And I do think they missed a trick with the entry, the opener segment. Why didn't they put the monster logo in the monster tunnel of overpass? That would be badass. Halvor van der Gullestol and Jacob Pimp Vineker joining us. I'm getting better every time. Come on, Halvor. Come on, they missed the trick there, right?
I give credit where credit is due.
You could have put Intel in the radio in Nuke, because it's getting Intel.
Yeah.
Monster in Monster Tunnel.
Okay. Where'd you put Zowie?
Well, we've got Zowie. There must be like a mouse and keyboard somewhere, right? Or like a PC setup?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's one in Nuke.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Control room Nuke.
Control room Nuke. And then what else we got? Monster Energy. Corsair. Corsair. Power. Or a boat. Or like... They do peripherals as well. Maybe we'll work it out. Yeah. Anyway, there's a little live brainstorming session for sponsors, and an extra shout out to them for making this happen. But let's talk about the game. Fnatic Cloud9 is about to go down, and we'll start then with you, Halvor, to highlight why these two teams meeting in their current form could prove to be an explosive start to our first day.
Well, it could be explosive for many reasons. One of them, one of the conditions that need to
be met,
yeah, to be met to come into play for this to actually be an explosive matchup is Cloud9 needs to have one of their up days, not one of their down days, because they've been wildly inconsistent for quite some time now. We've seen very good performances on one day, and then day two end up kind of getting trounced and going back to their more primitive ways and just playing very individually, not really doing a whole lot as a team, which is obviously not going to fly versus a team like Fnatic. But Fnatic on their end as well, they've had several issues. They started to mount a bit of a...
They're on the way.
Yeah, they started to have a bit of a rise in form towards the later stages of Pro League. They started off Pro League pretty well. Obviously, ended up going out in the group stage and the tiebreakers. But still, there was promise. I would say much more so, in recent form than what we've seen in the past as well, because they had a really rough start to this reunited lineup.
They have shown promise. In fact, actually, Parla promised me that we'd get a pre-game interview. So let's go ahead and see if he's ready on the stage.
Olaf, we're live. Calm down, all right? We're live right now. Alex has just thrown it to me. Ladies and gentlemen in the crowd, I have a very special treat for all of you right now. Please put your hands together for Jordan, Nothing, Gilbert, and Olaf Meister Gustafsson. Kaiba, sorry. Very simple. We're going to keep it short and sweet. Is there anything you would like to say to each other right now?
I don't have anything to say to him.
Not worth your time?
Yeah, he is, but...
And Jordan, what about you?
Insert shit talk here. That's about it, I can't say much to Olaf except we want to beat him, just like everyone else. So sorry I didn't bring the heat. But I love the Swedish crowd here, so let's all make some noise for both teams and let's get it fucking going, baby!
There we go.
Oh, family show.
There we go, guys. Please head to your booth. Thank you, crowd. Do not go anywhere. Alex, back to you guys on the desk.
Oh, Parla. He's keeping it short but sweet. Just like Nothing.
Oh,
he is a cutie. He is. He knows how to get the crowd riled up. He's also got the Viking beard at the moment.
That's true.
Yeah, pandering to the Vikings in the crowd.
As you should.
Yeah. You've got two Vikings here as well.
Yeah, but anyway, I think if you're Jordan, you kind of have to go that route. You have to pander to the crowd if you're going to get any sort of support, right?
Yeah, hey,
they're going up against
previously known as the world's best player. He's from the very nation we're competing within. Maybe a degree of crowd bias.
Yeah. Slight.
Minor. Let's kind of return to the discussion, because you were talking about Fnatic's rise and fall. On the upswing, is it safe to kind of put them in that category now, Pimp? Like they've proven that they are stabilizing to an extent after the godsend Fnatic.
Yeah, I'd say so. They to me came off very disappointing, I'd say. Like I think we all had high expectations to reforming this Fnatic lineup, getting back together, all of them. it didn't turn out that well, I'd say. But I watched Pro League as well, and it looked promising. Like they were, I'd say, unlucky in certain ways going out there. You know, could have been SK, could have been Envious, but they were the one losing the tiebreaker. But it looked promising for sure. But still not to the level where I'd say like this is what I expected before this. You know, I expect Fnatic to be a top 5 team, top 4 team at all times, and not only like a top 10 team, which they are right now.
I mean, let's go for a little adventure as to why that is. When they were the best team in the world, undoubtedly, of course, with one difference, of course, Dennis never amongst their roster when they found the most success, but the majority of their roster, the discussion is always they got away with it because they were just 4, if not 5, the best players in the world. Is that the sentiment that you share? Do you believe that that is the case, that they were the best individuals put together in a mix and shooting people?
That was somehow the case, but not really. Like
there's more to it.
Yeah, there's more to it, way more to it. They had confidence, like they had like this belief that they couldn't lose. First of all, and that's important for a championship team. If you want to become like a championship team for a longer period, you can win an event, but then you go to the next event and you might lose. Then you don't have like that like mentality. But Fnatic were winning and winning and winning, and at some point like you just stop thinking we can't lose, you know. Which is also why it hurt them so much when they started to lose, I think. That, and they had Olaf Meister in a shape that we haven't seen him for, is it a year now? I think it's been a while.
But
it's been a while, you know.
Injuries he was a bitch.
Yeah, they really are.
And he was like the best player in the world at the time. You know, Cold Zero could match him. Nobody could match him. Probably like the best player of all time in that current form, I'd say.
My favorite quote from Olaf, he does say it a couple of times, it's just, I'm not the best player in the world, but there's just no one better than me. It's just like, fire, pure fire.
Got confidence.
At least
on our screens. At least he has confidence, and I think, you know, when we go back or have a look back at Fnatic's dominance and when they were really shining, you know, just like Crimson's teeth right there, you know, in all its glory, it was also, you know, the meta was very, very favorable towards them. It was a very different brand of Counter-Strike that was being played at that point in time, which favors obviously very individually skilled players like that Fnatic team was.
Can you briefly touch on how the meta has shifted? Where are we at now then?
Well, now we're getting more and more towards where structure is reigning supreme more so than in the past. And I think, you know, the Fnatic players have said so themselves that they actually needed to implement more and more strategy to their playstyle if they wanted to be successful. And for a lot of the teams that have had success in the past, if you look at teams like Envious or this Fnatic lineup, they came to that realization a bit too late. So that's why you saw the reigns kind of end, not necessarily abruptly, but end and you know, they didn't actually, you know, just dip underwater and then come back up to the surface. They kind of stayed away. They had a bit of an accident, to put it that way, and stayed away from the very top for a bit of a while.
Talking about being underwater, Liquid Pimp with us for a while. 5 out of 7, not my best. But I mean, they are no longer the Olaf Meister bursts into a site and the bomb goes down. They are, in my mind, looking for that more, like trying to fit themselves into the meta. Is that something that you can see in their gameplay? It's evident.
It feels like they're trying, you know, but then you can't stop thinking back to Fnatic when they were the best team in the world. Like when you had JW, you had like a player like Dennis as well. Like those guys just do whatever they want, you know, to put it out. As it is, you know, and it's like I don't see Fnatic being like a tactical heavy team. Like I think they have to find a balance, and I think they're trying to, and that's why we'll like look towards them and say they're promising right now.
But I think also that's why they've brought on Jumpy, because Jumpy, when he was playing, obviously he was not
like a Swede.
Jumpy. Yeah, his name is Jimmy as well, so Jimmy. Like obviously bringing him onto the team, like he never was known as an in-game leader that was a heavy fragger when he was playing in his day. So that's obviously like he's being brought in for his tactical prowess in that sense, and I think that's obviously like a sign of Fnatic realizing what their issue was and what they need to work on to actually regain that top title.
And on the right side of the stage, you can see the North Americans. It's Cloud9 that stand against them, and an argument as well as why Fnatic have fallen from grace is because everyone else got better. Cloud9 no exception to that. As time has progressed, North American Counter-Strike is no longer a dank meme on the interwebs. It is indeed a very strong component of the Counter-Strike global offensive machine. The players there that featured now within Cloud9, there is a lot of discussion surrounding Cloud9 as of late, however. It's a real mixed bag of discussion. I think we'll avoid the retirement discussion entirely. Let's just avoid it. Let's just not talk about it.
I'm actually a big fan of the fact that they want to stay together.
You are?
Honestly, yeah. No,
I'll let you jump with that,
I'm a proponent of trying to work things through. I mean, again, VP being yes an anomaly in this kind of a scene, but still, I think there's definitely value to it if you actually manage to overcome it eventually.
Yeah.
Then I think you're stronger than you ever would have been before with a potential roster change and everything. And I think that we've seen all the players on that Cloud9 team have way higher highs than what they're playing at now. Or at least that goes for, I guess, the three most discussed players in Ska, Shroud, and Nothing.
Yeah, I will never forget the Sao Paulo finals where Cloud9 beat SK
and there you see
in Brazil, best of 3.
And there you see stars aligning for that team, and that's the kind of potential they have. The problem is obviously finding consistency and finding a way where they can kind of summon those powers to actually do it each and every tournament. And I think they realize the fact that they have that kind of a potential, and that's why they want to stick together, because they have seen the mountaintop and they want to stay at it. But it's a very tough process, and obviously anyone who's played competitively knows that it's not obviously something that's going to change over the course of a day. It's going to be a long grind back to it.
It's also a case of being realistic, For Cloud9, I have no doubts that they've considered changing rosters. That's how it is when you play on a team. That's how it is when you don't perform. You always have
that back in
something in the back. Yeah.
It's always there, and especially young players like Stewie and Automatic. I could imagine, they haven't tried it as much. They're not as experienced as Nothing, So they are easier to jump on the other side in that sense. And to me, it's like Cloud9 doesn't really have anyone to pick up that could redefine their team or make them that much better.
That's also a very good point.
I think it's a realization they've come to.
They have what they have.
Players like Elish, players like JDM from Liquid maybe could have been objects for them, but they're not free. They're not they can't buy
to move. Yeah, and that's also the thing. It's not necessarily just a matter of whether or not they have the possibility to get them, but it's also whether or not. First off, players would actually fit into their team.
And I do not doubt it, but when you see Cloud9 and their statements, I guess we are going down this path, but when asked, any Cloud9 member over in Dallas, they asked them who the best operator in the world is. Everyone said Skadoodle, of course, that's their belief. Amongst their roster, you saw Automatic, a recent statement just saying that he believes that Shroud is a vital component of the Cloud9 team, and it's that belief, it's the fact that they want to stick together, and I'm very excited to see if this firm belief, this faith, does get rewarded here. It's a tough tournament, tough competition. We do have the map will be Mirage between Fnatic and Cloud9. Best of ones for now, if you have just joined us. This is the DreamHack Astro Open, and we're live from DreamHack Summer. Look at that. That is such a cool sight. I remember when I was growing up and looking at the pictures of DreamHack, I need to go over there. I need to play. Never got the chance to bring my own computer, but...
So what's next? Well, you have your laptop. Sound doesn't work, but
Yeah.
Do what you can.
It's completely different experience, isn't it, over here? So many people all set up playing their games, and then just across the hall, you have the very best playing some Counter-Strike. You could probably be playing your matchmaking game while watching this live. That's the magic of DreamHack Summer.
Wombo combo right there.
Yeah. Every time you die, just look over at that big screen, and now you can see that there is going to be some predictions from the guys in Twitch chat. ! Fnatic and ! C9. Now, if my theory is correct, they just type the one that's shorter. Oh,
that would be
hello. I've got it.
There, yeah, it's moving in the right direction.
That's it. That's my theory. I'm a statistician.
There we go.
That's a hard word to say.
but on the topic of Cloud9 and changes and again, not a roster change, but the fact that they've gone back to Stewie being an in-game leader again. Obviously, there's been a bit of back and forth between Stewie and Automatic, who was doing the in-game leading for a better part of it. We saw that Automatic, after Katowice, slowly started to take more and more of that responsibility, which obviously, again, leads to fluctuating individual performances. And it seemed like Stewie actually plays better when he's doing the in-game leading.
You think so?
Oddly enough. Yeah, and I don't think Automatic necessarily had too much of a dip when he was in-game leading, but I think Stewie took more of a hit from a personal point of view. When that was the case. And I think, we saw it with Boltz as well. Boltz just started playing better as soon as he got the reins to kind of put himself, I guess, into positions where he's more comfortable, but still not at the cost of the team.
So almost falling away from the in-game leading damages your fragging capacity to an extent. We haven't got time for that discussion.
But it's really quickly, I think it's more down to the fact that he's able to put himself in comfortable positions
for himself.
Yeah, exactly, without it being in a negative for the team.
Okay, last point, Jacob.
Same with Nico from Mousesports. When he was in Mousesports, he was able to literally dictate the game his way. He wanted to go where he wanted, and he got it. Whereas in FaZe, obviously it's Kerrigan running the show, and he has a role to play. So there'll always be those two types of in-game leaders. One who is not frag heavily, but makes his teammates better, and the other way around as well.
Yeah, but in the instance of FaZe, though, he is still zipping up body bags under character structure. Yeah.
But still.
Okay, let's get some quick predictions then, because this is interesting. Cloud9, Fnatic, gentlemen. You going to pander to the crowd?
No, well, I don't even need the crowd, but I would still go with Fnatic. I said it initially when we went over the groups. I think Fnatic should be the one team to go out on top. So, you know, kind of have to side with them in that sense.
For sure.
Okay, one for Fnatic.
The map is Mirage as well. You know, it's a Fnatic map. Like when they were the best team in the world, they were insane on Mirage. And I feel like it's a map that suits the playstyle of Fnatic. It's a map that suits like having a little bit of freedom, but still have a little bit of structure. So it's gonna go to Fnatic.
Okay, 2 for Fnatic, and I think I will actually jump on that bandwagon. Despite, I honestly would not be surprised like a 16-14, even an overtime. But just edging it towards the Swedes in the first game, just starting as they mean to go on. They were unwilling to like play for the camera. They were just like game time. They want to win this one, get themselves back on the horse. They're already well and truly foot in the whatever the foot part is of a saddle.
No idea.
No,
like you're
I started an analogy without knowing the terminology. I tried. And we will try to get this game underway. We're going to take a quick 60-second hiatus as we go and get your casters in their seats, microphones on, and we come back. Fnatic Cloud9 does kick off.
And welcome back to our live coverage here of DreamHack Summer 2017, our first game together, Dust.
Indeed.
Casting, and it's going to be a good one as well. I think we've came in a pretty good time. Fnatic, Cloud9. I think teams that are relatively even in terms of skill, it's kind of hard for me to distinguish between the two of them. Obviously, Fnatic used to be one of the mainstays of Counter-Strike, would just wreck everybody. Cloud9 had a bit of an upward trend. They've been up and down as of late. I think this is a pretty hard one to call.
It's actually fun, like a little piece of history for everyone out there. The last time that Cloud9's been able to take a map off Fnatic offline was all the way back in July of 2015 at the FACEIT Stage 2 finals. So you have to go pretty far back to be able to find them having success against this team. And of course, it is a Swedish team on Swedish soil. I'm sure the crowd is going to be pumped to see if Fnatic could keep that up and hold Cloud9 off from getting any map victories off of them today.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those kind of situations as well that obviously Fnatic on home soil, typically Swedes do pretty well at DreamHack. But this is a pretty big test, I would say, for the first game. Coming up against Cloud9, do you think the map veto is going to be a massive impact on how this game goes? Or do you have a favorite? Do you think Cloud9 are going to continue this streak that you mentioned before?
Well, I believe the map was on Mirage, if I'm not mistaken. And if that is the case, you know, it's a map that Fnatic actually haven't had that much success on offline lately with this 5, and I feel like it's one of the maps that they've struggled with the most both times they've had this 5-man lineup together. I feel like they've never been as strong on it as back in the Pronax days as far as just how they handled the map tactically, though online they've looked pretty sharp on it. Meanwhile, Cloud9, like Mirage, is kind of one of their staples, right? It's one of the maps that they play the most, you know, in both online and offline settings. They have some of their most success on this map when they are successful. It's been a lot of Mirage lately. So, I mean, I expect it to be, you know, somewhat equal playing field, but maybe the map even favors Cloud9 when you think about just results, like just stats, not exactly the matchup itself.
So across the Mirage we will be headed as all 10 players are ready and raring to go. Here we go, ladies and gents. First round of Fnatic and Cloud9's tournament. Up against one another into Palace already. And I can't see a single thing, thus.
We cannot, but so we'll just let you guys get in a little bit of... You can see it, but we unfortunately can't see what's going on right now. No video available.
You can just soak in the action. I'm sure it's fantastic. Our previous
Sounds
screen,
great right now.
Literally, our previous screen just died the second we got into game. So I just heard the bomb's been planted, thus.
Bomb has been planted.
So Fnatic, who started on T side, obviously pretty good shape. Can't tell you as to what's going on right now.
Not a clue.
Now, I'm going to assume with Fnatic winning that round as the crowd just went mad. So I would guess that's a plant into...
So let's start with what we know, Menace.
Round win. Yeah.
It's 1-0 Fnatic. I feel pretty good we can say that.
Yeah.
The scrambling's going on. So we can try to see the game. Some buying going on. There we go. There we go. Woo!
Thank you, sir.
Best casting anyone's ever heard. It's like the reverse T-Tours.
So I want to thank the crowd there for their help with the screaming. So Fnatic did actually pick up the first round, as we expected.
That's actually insane that happened. Let's regather ourselves now, as we do have Automatic with the scout inside window room. Smoke in his face, as we're seeing Flusha lead up through underpass. So Fnatic looking just to take some mid-control. They do have some presence outside the A-bomb side as well, so you could be seeing some type of connector split, most likely with just heavy numbers. In fact, 4 players look like they're going to be coming through this connector area.
Yeah, minimal utility as they have gone for a scout instead in the hands of Automatic. Nothing's going to be holding the close angle. There's the flash into peak, and they are going to be able to yield at least 1 kill from this. But that seems to be all. Cloud9 now against the ropes. 1 minute and 5 to play with bomb drop, but salvageable from the terrorists. And Flusha has spotted himself a player on the toll booth. Not able to connect just yet, but this round seems to be going the way of Fnatic, and pretty convincingly so, unless Automatic can put off some kind of miracle play. Stewie's taken down 1, 3 more to find. Not going to happen. Fnatic 2-0 up.
Yeah, again, just getting that fast mid-control, putting a lot of pressure here into connector. That UMP of Flusha farming some cash, getting a little bit of extra money there in the bank, having no problems getting through, making sure they establish to 2-0. They've gotten past that little hurdle that the 4 spots can sometimes throw in front of you. And so this is now a Cloud9 that's basically full saved. So this should be where Fnatic are able to get to 3-0, no problem. Again, they'll look to be establishing mid-control pretty quickly here as Crim's leading the way.
Yeah, mid-control pretty much has been established and nailed on. Cloud9 with USPs across the board, P2000 for nothing. Really seeing if they can get a kill here or there, but that's pretty much as good as it's going to get, and that's not even going to happen. A couple players are low, but Fnatic, they have drilled in a 3rd round.
Yeah, so now we're going to see the purchases coming out of Cloud9, though, and we'll see what Fnatic wants to do on a full gun round. Again, this team always known as being a lot of loose cannons, a lot of high-skilled players. They always do favor that mid-control, though. One of the big things that I've noticed differently about this 5 together now as opposed to the past, like towards the end of 2015, is that Olafmeister used to be very active in a lot of mid-control plays. You know, particularly, he was one of the ones that really trademarked getting control of ladder room, but nowadays you see him drifting outside the A-bomb side quite a lot. But in this particular round, you're seeing Fnatic put a lot of focus on the B apartments. 4 players here, just 1 now coming back to mid to lurk, but looking like they want to keep up this 1-4 aggressive style. Again, something Fnatic are certainly well known for. A little bit slowed down thanks to some counter nades, but seeming like they're just a coiled Viper right now, just getting ready to strike onto this B-bomb site.
Oh, the spring may be about to snap into play. Shroud, though, he's there waiting. Skadul's going to get a pick as they take it a little bit too long. Dennis with the entry frag is going to keep this round in the realms of possibility, but Skadul's going to take down another one. Not too far off on a 3rd. This is where Fnatic and their lack of health could start to be an issue. Skadul, though, has missed another one. He's given his position away, and you expect the noose to now be tightened around his neck. There has been enough time for the rest of Cloud9 to get themselves in position. They're not wanting to fully focus on this. Still a player towards the CT spawn. With 40 seconds left, they're not absolutely sure on the B hit. Not maybe sure where the bomb currently is. Flusha with 1. He's going to bring this on to 2 more players for Cloud9. 30 seconds. And it seems like they've been on B site forever.
Yeah, and that bomb's actually still down over towards apartment, so even though there's some time, Flush still has to jump back up there to grab it, I believe, and that could be where someone's going to be able to maybe get a spot on him. It looks like it's not going to happen, though. No one has the angle on Catwalk, so he's able to jump back in, throws a Molotov down, 12 seconds left. He doesn't have time to move anywhere else. He has to commit to this bomb plant. He's going to fake it. He's trying to bait them in, trying to see if he can go for the kills. Instead, gets one. He doesn't have time to plant now, though. It's all over unless this guy peeks him too much, but Stewie is going to be able to get the frag, so basically a loss off of time, and Stewie making sure his opponent knows he won that round.
And the really confusing thing to me is actually do end up losing on time because they got onto the side there, Dust, with like a minute to go. There was this strange scrappy confrontation with Skadoodle hiding behind the pillars for what seemed like an eternity, and they still managed to run the clock all the way down. So maybe disappointing for Fnatic, but Cloud9 are in a bit of a sketchy position. There's 3 UMPs. They're not exactly set in terms of economy, so if Fnatic win this, Cloud9 are in all sorts of trouble.
I mean, that came down to a 1v1, so 4 players had the rebuy, and again, that harsh reset could certainly be a reality for C9. If they don't win this round, they need to win it comfortably. Again, the 3 UMPs certainly can hurt that, but Skadoodle out in middle early, able to get a pick there onto Dennis, so at least the instant 5-on-4. No response from Fnatic just yet.
Automatic has sussed out where a potential avenue of aggression could come from underpass, but not going to be able to hide around there long enough to find out. Smokes were skewing his vision as well. The leaning tower of Fnatic will be peering into window. Not able to get a kill, but Olafmeister elsewhere will take down nothing.
That's on that A-bomb side. Again, that's a new position for him in this iteration of the lineup, or basically return to the old 5. And so he is going to get that opening, as you noted. He gets it back into even situation, as we do have Fnatic establishing that mid-control. Bomb's actually still all the way down back at Catwalk, so someone's going to have to go back and grab that and maybe swing it over through mid or towards the A-bomb side. It seems like they do want to split. They do have Crims in a very dangerous position as he's been boosted inside window, so they're exercising a lot of control right now, giving Cloud9 a lot to be responsible for. So much they have to pay attention to onto this, but we'll see if they can hold, as again, Fnatic are coming down to the wire on the clock. Almost 20 seconds left, and they still haven't gotten the bomb in the site just yet. If anything goes wrong, this could be another loss off the timer.
And it's Stewie as well with the M4, one of the more powerful weapons that Cloud9 possess. 12 seconds, no room for error. But Stewie gets drilled in the head, and it's Olafmeister again. Time is scarce, but there's enough of it to get this plant down. And all the issues that were befalling upon Fnatic in the last round no longer will be. And Skadoodle in a 1-on-4 is not going to be able to save us up. And the nightmare that we hinted at has become a reality. Their economy is in the dumps.
You got to think it all comes down to that one entry that Olaf gotten on the Stewie on the triple box. You saw Stewie was trying to take down Crims, who was coming from window room, so he kind of got blindsided. And that was the entry that really mattered. Of course, Olaf, this is the one that gets him into the 4-on-4. But this kill that comes out here, that's the one that has the most impact, because it was really a situation where they were running out of time. If they would have, lost the bomb carrier there, they'd probably lose off of not being able to plant. So the fact that Olaf puts that through from Palace, that was big. And you can see the impact it has. Cloud9, hard reset. They will upgrade their pistols, but other than that, there's not much for them in this round, as once again, Fnatic is keeping with the standard mid-control. It's good to see them going back to mid-control, because I remember when they had this 5 at the end of 2015, they really just went for fast-paced execution almost every single round. It's good to see them have this mid-control back about them, being able to throw that back into how they approach Mirage.
And it has been paying off for them. They have been getting consistent success, is the one I was looking for in mid. So let's see if that continues to be a trend as this game progresses through. Skadoodle. Well, he's been smoked off. P250 in hand, going to try and find a pixel in which he can aim through. Nothing forthcoming as of now. Dennis, the player in underpass. And again, Fnatic are using their time. Bombs towards the spawn. Haven't fully committed to either side, but Stewie could find himself a couple of stragglers if he peeks around the corner. This is where the CZ is very potent, very dangerous. And although Flusher realizes the situation at hand with no one in Palace from Fnatic, they're going to walk straight past him. Stewie's in a prime position to cause an upset now.
Yeah, he really could if he gets behind them, if he times it just right, and he is beginning to. He sees them running up. He could definitely get behind and do a lot of damage. It's just going to be about how many bullets or how much of his teammates go down before he can get into place is going to be really key. In fact, everyone's just getting wiped out, and so now it really doesn't matter that he's able to get behind. In fact, he doesn't even find that. Grim shuts it down. And so Fnatic off to a roaring start here in Sweden. 5-1 going to be the score.
know, in these kind of rounds, you're hoping for a play, as we were highlighting with Stewie. Didn't quite pay off. The rest of his team buckled, and nothing does what he can at the end to make it as sting as possible of a round, but not really going to bother Fnatic. They are in cruise control to start things off.
Yeah, they really are. And it just seems like they're stabilizing as a team. Like, their roles are starting to get a bit more fixed. Like, instead of just everyone playing a different position every round, it seems to be getting more proper. And you also notice that the op isn't as passed around, you know, in the musical chair situation they used to have. Like, it seems like JW firmly has it the bulk of the time, but he's going to get run down in Palace. Another save from Cloud9, trying to do something gimmicky. It doesn't quite pay off all the way, but they do get an op in Stewie 2K's hands, and so you can see maybe he can make a play. He takes down Dennis. He actually gets it into a 3-on-3, and something awkward's going on here in window room. Krims walks right past Shroud. Is Shroud gonna be able to backstab? No, he's gonna get backstabbed by Flusha. He's gonna get the knife kill. Oh my goodness, that was a circus of a situation on that catwalk. Down to 2-on-2.
Stewie up in hand, nothing with a P250, but considering that Cloud9 really came into this with nothing at all, this wouldn't be a bad take out of it, and Stewie's still on the prowl. Now, of course, the bomb has been spotted on B. He knows exactly where he needs to move to. It's going to be two very angry terrorists to contend with, though. Stewie peering around the corner, can see where the bomb's landed. Oh my goodness! Flusha gets nailed in the head. Oh, and Stewie's pulled it off. The clutch is a reality. What a play that is. I think it was a 4K as well he ends up picking up. What a monster.
That was unreal. You give him a chance, and sometimes he will produce. That was definitely a round where Cloud9 were in the dumps. They just happened to get JW's op down. And even after Flusha does this for a little bit of BM and a little bit extra cash, it doesn't matter anyway, because we see Stewie come through and get the masterclass clutch. That headshot was unreal. Really well done. That can be the type of thing that gets your head right back in the game after having a tough start.
Two ops in play now. Fnatic have Olafmeister and JW wielding the sniper rifles.
Yeah, double op on T side, something Fnatic is familiar with. That means that Olaf will be middle. They'll put someone else outside the A-bomb site for now. Again, trying to find picks, but Cloud9 not really giving them a whole lot of access to them, as they're just kind of entrenched on this A-bomb site and passive at window room. So Fnatic not finding anything until that one.
It's a solid first pick, but considering where Fnatic currently are, doesn't really shape how this round is going to go down just yet. Of course, it gives them the advantage, but they're not in position to make the most of this. So it is going to be more slow pace for the time being. Bomb still dropped over towards the T side of Spawn.
Yeah, just waiting to see if Cloud9's going to make a play. I mean, in a 4v5 situation, you got to think that they might get a little bit aggro somewhere on the periphery of the map or at middle itself, but Cloud9 just holding angles, so we're coming down towards the mid-round here, and Fnatic are going to start putting a little bit more pressure on Connector. They still have someone in Palace, the bomb at the back and middle, so still no real commitment, but it looks like they really want to try to make some action over here towards Connector. As I say that, though, they begin to backpedal, just leaving one behind. And it looks like they're going to swing that bomb around into T-spawn, so they still want to split A, but they just want to get a little bit more presence over on the ramp before they actually start attacking.
Again, though, time is starting to tick ever so quickly against the terrorists. Cloud9, they can just push in this position and try and kill off as much as possible. Stewie 2K, we know he has it in his locker to pull this off. He's already got a huge clutch. Not this time around. A bridge too far. JW should have that free pick on Skriddle, who did get flashed up as well. Couldn't see a single thing. And although it's close, Fnatic will have time to get the plant down with 2 seconds left. And now Automatic and Shroud, I mean, they're in safe territory. They want no part of this round. Going to be able to get a kill into Olafmeister. But that's all she wrote. Fnatic will regain their winning ways.
It's another reset on Cloud9 as well, man. Like, their 2 rounds are on islands, and that's really just hurting their money in such a big way. I mean, yeah, sure, it was a crazy clutch from Stewie on an eco buy that allowed them to get that second round, but now you're asking to have to pull off another miracle like that if you want this next round. And again, though, I'm starting to fear Fnatic, because there's been so many rounds that have come down to them planning with just a couple of seconds left, and it's so unorthodox for Fnatic, right? You expect them to be like explosive and in your face early, and they've really kind of winded that down a bit. They'll take some fast mid control, but they're very patient on how they respond afterwards. It might haunt them in the future. Skadoodle, with the one gun that Cloud9 had, does get the opening pick here at middle. And last time around, Cloud9 was able to follow it up. Can they do it again?
Well, there you have it. JW puts down the hammer. Skadoodle becomes extinct for the time being. Stewie will be able to get his hands on the AWP though, so it's not completely out of play. And there is Kevlar across the field as Cloud9 have gone in with pistols alongside that AWP. So although it does look pretty sketchy for Cloud9, they have enough power to maybe pull this one off. And of course, this is a much better buy than what we saw when Stewie pulled off the crazy clutch earlier. Nothing in a spot of bother, to say the least, but the flashbangs are going to yield him an opportunity, and he will jump on top of that. Bomb also gets dropped out. Vital information for Cloud9, who are now going to be moving their player on short round towards the connector side of the map. And JW is going to find that out firsthand. This automatic CZ that lays him to rest. Crims is going to go down next, and Cloud9 have only got Olaf to face off against. 4 players strong. What an absolute nightmare. 2 times Cloud9 with very little investment have made the round stick.
Yeah, the rounds that they've won are the ones they've had the least invested in, to be 100% honest with you. That's crazy stuff there from nothing, just staying alive under that balcony, just dodging and weaving around, and he gets himself with this beauty right here, getting the 1 dig as soon as Crims comes around the corner. That was a really good flash, though. That was probably the biggest thing. Like that flash, that as soon as Fnatic started coming up A ramp, got him that first kill for free, basically. So that combined with Skadoodle's op pick at the beginning, he's going to go for it again and gets it once more the exact same way. So they're starting to get into this one now. They're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm going.
Plenty of time for Fnatic to try and force their way into the B side. That's exactly what's going to happen. They do get spotted from connector. There's the M4 hail of gunfire will find them. Does whittle them down somewhat, but they're getting frags on the site down to Flusher, who has had a pretty solid performance so far. So you can't write them off, but it's not looking good, and nothing. He will secure the round. So Cloud9, that's the first time we've actually seen them pick up a rifle round, it seems. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain that's the case.
For the most part, maybe the first round they won, might have been some guns on that one as well. But yeah, the other 2 before that one were basically full saves or just like 1 gun. And we are going to see a pause come out now, as Fnatic have kind of started to slow down after that big start. It's been some pretty big individual plays and some craftiness from C9 on low buy rounds, but they've closed the gap in a big way. They're now right on the heels of Fnatic in the first half.
Pardon me. Actually, they did win a rifle round. I think it was their first buy. It was 3-0. They had 3 UMPs, if memory serves me correctly. I think it was 3 UMPs, an AWP, and an M4, and they made it work. Either way, Fnatic now find themselves in unfamiliar territory on an eco. Ooh. Oh, and this could just be a stomp in mid. Stewie's only able to get 1, but this is where Automatic steps up to the plate and connects 4. Can't get too carried away about that. It was a full-on eco from the Swedes. And Cloud9, they beat what was up against them, 6-5.
Yeah, so this is the round they were really planning on here. I mean, this was basically just them saving up for cash, but this is the round where we'll see them have something invested into it, see what they want to go to. Again, we've actually seen a lot of like fast mid control, but then really slowing it down and trying to just kind of work things out more methodically, almost to the point of dangerous territory with very little time on the clock. So I'm curious if they'll start picking up the pace a bit. Looks like they are going to once again go for a bit of mid control, but they're still at the back of Catwalk, not jumping out just yet. They don't really have the smoke to block off window, I guess, just yet, so they want to kind of wait it out. They want to give that Opera a free kill. Now the smoke goes in window, and so now they'll start making their way out. You do have Automatic playing inside ladder room, so if they try to work up Cat, he could definitely disrupt this, and Skadoodle might get some free reign over the top of this smoke. Does spot one, there you go. All he needs is a pixel, and that's going to get him the opening kill again. Skadoodle's been really good for these opening picks. He's gotten so many 5v4s for his team.
You just know JW's salty about that. He's like, dude, we threw a smoke down in connector, and they still get wrecked through there.
That's why it's so dangerous to throw smokes in connector. That's why you see a lot of teams now just throwing that smoke by stairs, like on the CT side of connector right here in front of Dennis instead, because that's kind of the more guaranteed way to make sure no one from A site is going to be able to spot you working Catwalk, but not that time.
And you can see instantly as well, Fnatic have a knee-jerk reaction. They just pull back. They go more passive. As a result, they try and filter through B apps. So that pick really meant so much for Cloud9. And although Dennis has managed to get himself through onto the jungle side and pick up 2 kills, this round may not be over just yet. I was thinking Fnatic were going to slip away, and there's Jury with a USP headshot delivered first class. Now going to be whipping out the AWP instead. 12 seconds. Bomb is going to start to make a maneuver onto the site and could go for a plant as well. Crim's only on 1 health, but that's all he's needing seemingly. Molly goes down onto the site, and Crims comes through with 2 kills of his own.
I want to see that second one. That looks so fast.
Fnatic somehow come back into that round. It looked like they were totally wrecked after the first 2 picks.
Yeah, it was not looking good. It looked like they really got bogged down over in the middle and got shut down on initial catwalk presence. But Dennis making some big plays from window room here kind of gets them back into the round. And then you have Crims finishing it off. Oh, they just line up for him. Okay, that's how it happened. That was pretty raw there. And so now we are going to see Fnatic again shifting into one of these 1-4 setups off the bat. So it seems like they do want to pick up the pace a little bit in a round like this one. They do know that they have Cloud9 in a low buy, I would imagine, if they're keeping track of these rounds.
Yeah, they'll certainly have a good idea as to what's up against them. And of course, once they find this pistol in the hands of Strui, forcing them down, he switches. Oh, Crims actually team kills JW.
What in the world?
What a nightmare. Could you imagine if Crims then dies afterwards?
Oh yeah, the salt would be Dead Sea level.
Next level. Either way, a 1-for-1 trade, make that a 2-for-1. Automatic comes through with a kill of his own. Skadoodle narrowly misses out on the shot, nearly gets on the second time of asking, and he's going for some cheeky wall bangs that aren't too far off. Shroud will finish off what nothing has started. And now Dennis, who came through with 2 clutch kills in the last round, is going to go for the spray. Oh, and he lands both of them as well. Skadoodle and Shroud fall to his hands.
Dude, Dennis is like just a savior of Fnatic. He had those key kills on the A-bomb site in the previous round. Now he has to try to clutch it by himself, but he can't. Nothing will finish it out with the M4. That's another round for C9. So they are keeping this half close. As close as it gets here at 7-6. Just a couple of more rounds left now. But this was certainly an odd situation. You hate to see it. Crims is trying to get the kill on this Dewey. Happens to burn his teammate in the process. And now it's Fnatic who are on a low buy.
That was some top-tier spray control, though, man. There's something about Swedish DNA that allows them to be just these masters of spray. Dennis transitioning across on the CT boxes was really a thing of beauty. But now Fnatic, well, they're back into a very sketchy buy of their own. Kevlar, a few pistols, and they're going to run into Shroud with his UMP. And he's looking to go on a farming frenzy. Automatic's going to fall. That could afford a bomb plant, although there is a player now pushing up onto the site itself. So the last line of defense hasn't quite been broken just yet, and that's going to be Stewie, who is going to get both the kills. Not quite fast enough to stop the bomb, but we are getting towards the dying embers of this first half. Not going to care too much about that.
So they're going to tie it up, and this is actually great when you consider at one point they were down like 5-1 or 6-1 or something like that, to actually tie this half back up. Pretty good news, and it really hurts Fnatic because right here at the home stretch of the half, they've actually had to go into 2 like really low buys, like just force what they could basically. This one's not going to be too much better. At least it includes a couple of rifles, but still mostly pistols in play here. We know they can be dangerous in rounds like this. They certainly have the players on pistols who can be quite dangerous. So you are going to see Cloud9 getting aggressive at mid this time, pushing all the way up to top, but it's going to be JW who punishes Stewie for it. So now it'll be Fnatic getting the opening 5-on-4. They haven't had that so many times.
Indeed. And this is really one of the keys to their success as well. By getting Cloud9 down by a player at the start, maybe being able to get their hands on a weapon later on once they take mid control. That's really what the doctor ordered. JW's going to keep the player advantage going in their favor. They are at a lack of nades though at this stage. With still over a minute to play with just a smoke and a molly. And as a result of the lack of CTs on the map, it does afford them some avenues of aggression. And it looks like it's going to be B once again, Dust, when they look to try and pierce through.
Man, it seems that is the case. We do see them gathering up now, throwing down the nade. Shroud, though, playing from inside the side, able to take one out, but they're able to trade through evenly, and it means they keep the man advantage. And they will get the bomb down much earlier this time. It's just going to be on Skadoodle and Nothing to try to retake. They both have kits, but they don't have utility other than Nothing's Incendiary, who just spent it.
From 2 separate angles to boot. Nothing needs to get this 1v1 duel going in his favor, and it was labored, but JW picks it up. 1 health separates the two of them, and Crims will get Sweden ahead at half-time, 8-7, but there's really nothing to distinguish between the two teams. It started great for Fnatic, as you said, around 5-1, but Cloud9, they showed great grit and tenacity to bring it back into such an even encounter.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it came down to some big individual plays. I mean, Stewie2K had that one round with the AWP and clutching. You know, you had Skadoodle finding opening picks all the time. Like, there was definitely a lot of effort coming in from C9, but in the end, Fnatic do maintain their lead as we transition to the second half. After a great start, they did slow down a bit, but they're still with that 1 round advantage. Switching over to their CT side, which we know can be quite powerful. Seeing if they can defend home turf again. Just to remind you, they have not allowed Cloud9 to beat them offline since summer 2015. That is quite a time ago. Almost fully 2 years, because it was July of 2015 at the Face of Stage 2 finals that Cloud9 actually beat them.
I do wonder, though, and this is something that you highlighted a couple of times, that Cloud9 got a lot of the opening picks, even in rounds that they were losing. Now that they're going through onto the T side, if that starts to dry up somewhat and they can't get the opening picks, they can't get the entries, you have to feel like Fnatic can extend their lead pretty fast here. So let's see how Cloud9 fare in the pistol. Not really telling us anything as of yet in terms of not going to be stacking together. It's more of a slow push.
Indeed, just kind of in a holding pattern all across the map, just anticipating aggression. You have them tucked in, watching for a B apartments push, watching for a mid push. You have people watching each spot over at A, so it's definitely very held back, just trying to see if Fnatic's going to give them something for free, but Fnatic content just to wait back here in holding pattern. So we're going to have a fairly slow start because no one really wants to take any initiative right now. It's like Cloud9 now will begin to start eyeing out middle, but JW will be there with the USP unless they have something to chase him off. He could just get a free headshot the first player crossing.
Well, they have a smoke and a Molotov, but it doesn't seem like either of those are going to go towards JW's position. Okay, there we go. I'm going to bank it off the wall. Solid utility affords them an avenue to push down into mid with. Dennis is going to get smoked off, and it's going to be nothing with the first of what Cloud9 hopes is many. CT boxes where Crims currently resides. He's not able to put bullets to faces. And the rest of his team is starting to get thinly spread across the rest of the map. They're going to be trying to come in together. I think that was a bit of an aim punch that he threw the grenade, which is going to completely skew where he was hoping to get that one. JW comes through with the only kill for the CTs. And I think Stewie just spotted his teammate Olafmeister darting down into connector side. So all the chips firmly stacked in Cloud9's side, and now we have it. Skadoodle comes through with the last two. Huge pistol, Cloud9 have picked it up.
Yeah, they just use their utility so efficiently. I mean, they put that Molotov down to push JW out of window so they can safely push up middle. Then they put that smoke down on Catwalk right as they want to hit connector. And you could see that shut down Fnatic's rotation and allow Cloud9 to safely get through connector and get these entries. And you see Skadoodle finishing it off. And that'll tie up the game 8-all. Skadoodle, he's got a Krieg.
Gotta keep them scopes, bro.
Oh, JW just got destroyed out in middle. Again, just kind of a pistol buy here from Fnatic, and that's a quick opening pick. But yeah, you'd see Shroud using the Krieg a lot, actually, kind of modeling after Magus Boy, who was doing it a little bit on this particular map, actually.
It's a solid gun, honestly, in the right hands.
Yeah, I've never seen Skadoodle use it, though. Usually it's been Shroud if anyone uses it on this team, but Shroud with the Galil takes out Olafmeister, and so the odds continue to stack against Fnatic in this round. We see Cloud9 looking to go ahead and get into this B-bomb site.
A very lonely Dennis will be there to face off against them. Does he have some magic? No, is the resounding answer. Crims, the sole survivor. Could be a case for him trying to get an exit and then save, but Stewie won't allow him to do so. 4 health left. Cloud9 have taken the lead, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Dust, I think this is the first time they've actually been leading this game. They've been from behind pretty much the whole way through so far.
And it's been good stuff. I mean, again, they want to get that win. It gets you into the winners. It gives you that chance to get that first seed. Have to avoid playing any best of threes until you're in the semifinals. So certainly a lot to be had in a game like this. And also beating Fnatic on home soil is definitely nothing to slouch at.
They have actually switched across. So you said before, Shroud does like to use the SG or the Krieg, whatever you want to call it. He now has it in his hands. It is against a fully ecoing up Fnatic. Should be lambs to the slaughter. Crimps from Shadow goes unchecked and is able to tee off with the flimsiest of pistols. Dennis may be able to do very much the same thing and is able to get it done. Even 2 kills out this round is probably more than Fnatic were expecting, but Cloud9, of course, will continue to bully their way in the lead. There will be assault rifles up against them, though, in this round, so it's going to be more of a test you have to feel.
Indeed. And Cloud9 typically, like what we saw from Fnatic in the first half was a lot of like mid-control and then kind of slow down just playing it out. But Cloud9 typically like to just do faster executes a lot of the time. And they do have the ability to play mid-control, but you do typically see them just doing a lot of faster site splits, a lot more early round stuff. Don't really like to wait until the last 30 or so seconds. They want to get out there quickly, and they're going to do the exact same thing, putting a smoke down on that molly. And somehow Flush is still not able to get the kill. And oh my goodness, these entries for Cloud9, it couldn't be better.
I mean, Flusher got completely panned by that flashbang, as does Crims, but already had his crosshair in the perfect position, so Shroud is a goner. But so is Fnatic's defense, it would appear. Even with assault rifles, it hasn't really been up to the task of Cloud9's demolition of Mirage. Dennis and Olafmeister, considering they have no kit, this round is pretty much done, and, well, there's another nail in the coffin.
Those were some clean entries on C9. Just smoking through that incendiary and just getting into the A-bomb site so rapidly. And the entries were just crisp. Fnatic just didn't have much of a response in this round, and so it will be 11-9. But we'll see if Fnatic can dig deep here and play themselves back into this. They're certainly still not far off. But that was definitely a great round from Cloud9.
The duel's going their way, solid use of utility on top of it. And Dennis is able to scavenge an AK out of a hopeless situation. But yeah, this is the moment you can see from Flush's perspective. He just got completely railed by the flashbang. Crims could get one, but got traded instantly afterwards. Cloud9 looking really good on their T side, thus. I mean, this is impressive stuff.
Yeah, again, like I said, they're usually a little bit more decisive in early round, and they're just going to give you those quick pace attacks. They usually have a lean towards one side or the other. You never really see them just run like a completely balanced setup, or it's rare at least, and they're going to have Skadoodles opt this time over towards B. Olaf gives him a little bit too much to look at, so he will go out, and so that will be Cloud9 wants the instant 5-on-4 once more on what is essentially an empty B-bomb site until JW begins to trek his way in, but considering what Fnatic have to work with, unless Dennis can come up huge with this one AK, and you see Crims pop off with the CZ, this is not looking good.
Certainly not. Cloud9 firm favourites to take this round and a 12-8 lead, which would mean that Fnatic have been barren on their CT side thus far on a single round. Flush is going to land a 1 dig though, keeping this round interesting. JW is going to rattle off some rounds. He can land one onto Shroud's head. Still, Cloud9 have the weapon advantage, and they still have control over the bomb, and nothing's going to go on a pivot and land a headshot onto JW, not able to transition across the Crims. I can see Skadoodle has no information. He has no idea where those potential CTs could be hiding, and it's going to be bench where Flusher lays him to rest. First round that Fnatic have picked up on their CT side.
And of course it would be with the buy that they had, right? Just that one AK, you had a CZ, you had some P250s out there. There was not a whole lot to go off of, but in true Fnatic fashion, they find a way to put those rounds together, and so now it is going to be 9-11 here. Now they have the double op set up as well. Fnatic, chance here to start working towards a tie game again. There's a little bit of a gap in that smoke on the left-hand side that Olaf can actually kind of see through there to see when it's going to cross. Meanwhile, he's got Dennis for support coming off the catwalk. No one's really giving him a shot just yet. Cloud9 are at the back a bit, looking to press forward soon.
JW gonna put down nothing on the B side. Olaf still peering through mid. Smoke will skew his vision, has to turn tail and run, allowing Shroud to open up. Still 2 AWPs in play. Flusher this time won't be getting bested in connector, playing more of a passive angle. Centralized aggression from Cloud9. 2 of their 3 players currently making a move through connector, the other in Palace, but Olaf is turreting his way across with the AWP. Thinks better of that decision, and curious if that timing is going to end up stinging in the long haul. It's not like Cloud9 have a huge amount to break through with either. They've got a Molly, which has just been used into jungle side on the window, and now a HE, and that's it. They desperately love to have a smoke at this stage of the round, but Flusher is going to put down yet another one. And he's on low health, but the cavalry is arriving with Dennis, who's not required for the start, but will be taking down the bomb carrier of Skadoodle at the end. Important round for Fnatic, and they've picked it up in style.
Yeah, really well done. It got a little bit worrisome there when Shroud was able to get that kill out of Palace and kind of give them a chance, but great responses from Fnatic across the board, particularly that opening pick from JW over on the B side on the nothing gave them that initial advantage. And now you actually have Cloud9 forcing up what they can here. Not the most ideal buy. They're going to look for a fast A execute here. One inside the A site, one connector. I mean, it's pretty much a default setup for Fnatic, but they have a guy aggressing catwalk, so they're going to have a bit of a faster rotation, especially since there's actually no one in B site. There's one market as well, so Fnatic are in great shape to rotate fast on A when this execute begins to pour in. They'll be there in plenty of time, but we'll see if Cloud9 can still brute force their way through.
So we'll be pulling the trigger afterwards as a result of not having any utility in reserve. So the plant likely, but the retake very possible. Flusher taking a whole bunch of damage, but is going to come out on top. Stewie falls by the wayside, momentarily silenced, and nothing decides to try pushing through, but he will meet around courtesy of the AWP, and JW goes in for one of his own. Looking good for Fnatic now. Automatic and Skadoodle, they both have AKs, they both have a hope to maybe crush the Swedish Dreams, but he's asking so much. And they're both on the same side as well, so even if Automatic goes out and lands an entry, the chances are so slim anything happens. The bomb wasn't even planted for them. So instead, Automatic's going to try and save.
And they were able to get in, but they didn't really have any utility to hold off the retake, and they tried to make some aggressive plays in CT spawn. They just didn't pan out. Really well done from Fnatic. Those AWPs are going to work in a big way for them. And now they've tied the game right back up at 11-all. And now it's Cloud9 with even less. Even after the bomb plant and the loss bonus, they still want to kind of save up their money for the next round. So they'll buy what they can here, but not enough to handicap them. And this means Fnatic, this might be the way back into a lead, as we do have Crims playing way up close on A ramp. He could disrupt them right away with a nice spray down. But if he goes out, that could give Cloud9 the advantage they need to get in here. He actually backs off, thinks better of it, now on top of the balcony.
There was a volley placed down, though, which pretty much nullified all the smokes that started to land on the site. They're not able to get any avenging frags, which was a consistent theme earlier of how Cloud9 were getting T rounds. So Fnatic done a great job of stopping the momentum in this round. The bomb will not be getting planted. Nothing now with an AK. Not long for this world. And, well, Fnatic, they started very poorly on this half, but they're coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, masterclass work there from Crims over on the A side, getting that balcony kill, dropping down, staying alive for more. Winds up with 3 kills on the round, so really nice defense, whittling down the numbers of C9, who now have to think about things a little bit. Again, they didn't buy up too much in that round, so they should be able to get a full buy into this one. Between the bomb plant in the previous round and the loss bonus. Fnatic with the lead, of course. Gonna see if they can't finish this one off.
Well, this game certainly on the scales, tipping slightly in favor to Fnatic, just by 1 round. But it's the economy that's also going to be working against Cloud9, now on the CT side, of course, where maybe they're not going to be able to get as many AWPs on the likes of Skadoodle and Stewie, who did such a good job when the roles were reversed. Ran into a Swedish blockade for the time being. So understandable they'd be trying to collectively get themselves sorted out here with a tactical pause.
Yeah, I'm just curious what Cloud9 wants to go to now. Again, they are fairly execute heavy. They have a few more we haven't seen yet. They like to be aggressive. They like those 1-4 setups. They like those quick 2-3 splits. They have some fakes as well in their back pocket they can pull out. And just all what you think is your best play. I'm not really sure what that's going to be. Of course, Dewey is back as the in-game leader of the team after a short stint of Automatic serving in that role. decided that they were better off, as Automatic felt that he wasn't having the same impact as a player while he was calling, whereas Stewie seemed to be able to balance the two a lot better individually when it came to statistics and whatnot. So he's going to be back in there. But you know this is a team that's always been one that probably has a very collective leadership. Guys, well, even if Automatic's not the actual in-game leader, he's very vocal, so is Nothing. So it's kind of a shared responsibility for this team. It has been that way for quite a long time. So we'll see what they've come up with. It's a big round for them.
Also, my feverish brain just wrecked me. I said Cloud9 were on the CT side. Definitely not true, of course.
It's
Definitely
okay.
on the T side.
It's okay. We know.
I'm a scrub. It's all good. Going to be aggressively pushing up mid anyway, looking to counter any mind games that Cloud9 had planned. Actual fact, aggression on two sides, up mid and through B app simultaneously.
Yeah, this is definitely a change up here from Fnatic to try to take this much map presence. I mean, JW has been a little bit aggressive on B with the op here and there, and he's going to find Shroud this time. It's the second time he's found an opening pick from that position. The last time it was against Nothing, and that did lead to a round win for Fnatic, so yeah, it's been the catalyst at times for Fnatic here, and this is definitely a great way to start. Again, this is such a big round for Cloud9 because they don't really have that much money in the bank. They're going to have a way lesser buy in the next round than this if they decide to force. So Fnatic are starting to really comfortably stabilize that lead. A good chance to extend it if they can finish this one off, as we do see Cloud9 beginning to gather up over here towards the B apartments.
Yeah, and a real combo breaker moment as well after a pause to then lose the next one. If Cloud9 were to falter from this point, JW, who originally did back away, thought about going for another peek, has spotted a play, not able to connect, but he is safe as his teammate throws in a Molotov and a smoke from the hands of JW. Will keep Cloud9 at bay. They're now going to be coming through the window side, and JW decides to try and push up close with the orb. Not going to work for him, but now Crim's able to transition across for a double spray down. Leaves Stewie and a Galil. There's the first of what they're hoping is 3. And a second Stewie! Lightning reaction speed! And although the nade was plumb on Flusher, he's not low enough to die outright. 3 seconds left. He does spot a pixel, but Flusher's playing it smart. I would like to say, though, a big NT to Stewie. That was a pretty sick double.
Oh yeah,
that he picked up.
It's just so unfortunate that the thing that crippled him was the bomb was still up top on the balcony of the apartments, and he couldn't get back up to it with only, like, I think 7 seconds left after he got that frag. He just didn't have the bomb, so unless he could find the frag, it was never going to work out. And so now you see Cloud9, they're taking a save here. They bought up a little bit on Automatic and Nothing with some Tech 9s and some nade sets. They do have a Deagle out in Shroud's hands as well, but it's more focused on buying up in the next round. And so that means Fnatic are probably going to have a great shot at putting it to 14. And just a few steps away from defending home turf successfully.
And you think this is now Fnatic's chance to get across the finish line. That round after the pause was so vitally important to Cloud9. It didn't go their way. And some last-ditch heroics from Stewie, not quite capable of pulling them back in the previous one.
Now, you imagine that Cloud9 are probably doing a fair amount of talking in this round. I mean, it's a round they don't really have anything into. And they're kind of just spread out, so they're probably just taking a little bit of an extra time to chat without actually having to take a timeout. But they're starting to probe around over the B apartments a little bit. JW misses a shot. Misses another one as well. Takes a little bit of damage. Is going to get bogged down, though, by some utility of Fnatic. Olaf holding him off still here at the van.
I do feel for JW there, though, because I assume after that first shoulder peak, he had the assumption the player would run straight past him, B-apps. You can see his crosshair was actually ahead of the player, not behind him. Probably won't end up mattering that much, though, because even though they've got onto the site, JW is swinging like a madman who's had too much booze. Put the bottle down. Bomb gets planted, but when you consider that everyone is so low, I mean, surely this is Fnatic picking it up afterwards. They know a player's on bench, all on Skadoodle. He's a dead man. Fnatic will pick up a 14th. But as a result of the bomb plant, it will bolster the next round in terms of weapons.
Yeah,
and
on
utility.
top of the save, the loss bonus, and the bomb plant, like they should have plenty of money in this round to go whatever they want. And that's actually kind of crazy what happened in that round. Olaf did so much damage, but it just didn't come up with any of the kills. At least he softened them up to make sure the retake panned out. And so there it is, 14-11. Fnatic one away from map point. Cloud9, all their eggs basically in this basket. I mean, this is the one they saved up for. They have all the utility they could want. They have the AWP in Skadoodle's hands.
I mean, the crazy thing for Fnatic here, Dust, is that it's Olofmeister who's rock bottom of the scoreboard. He's on 8 for 20. The rest of their team all stepping up to the plate. You have to feel if Olof has a solid game, they'd be in great shape. And Cloud9 not out of this just yet. They still have a solid purchase here in round 26.
Well, that's the thing with this Fnatic lineup, right? It's prided on its firepower. Whoever seems like any of these guys can be in form and put up big numbers. Obviously, it was Olaf and Crims in the past. It was Dennis most recently. Flush always a stable guy, but Skadoodle gets an opening pick against Crims, who was looking to get antsy over here on the A side of the map. We're going to see nothing lining up a smoke here from B Apartments. Maybe into window room again, I believe. Try to help them get through underpass without being caught by window room. So they want to split the A bomb side through connector with 3 players. They have 2 waiting outside the A ramp, including the bomb carrier, so it's definitely the intended target. 3 players in the area for Fnatic right now. 2 in CT spawn, 1 actually inside the site.
I mean, in terms of opening starts to the round, Cloud9 really couldn't have asked for too much better than this. Winning that first pick, but they've decided to play it slow and steady instead. That flash is ready to be popped across, but Flasher will be put down just before he gets it done. JW now in a spot of bother as the Molotov he's hoping desperately doesn't spread to his feet. The bomb is still going to get planted though. Dennis can look for some miracles through the smoke with his spray, and it's going to be JW and Olaf that actually give Fnatic the player advantage in his close plant scenario. It will be evened up, and now Skadoodle's going to be teeing off with his AWP. Dennis and an AWP all that remain. And Fnatic may be thinking of saving this, considering he doesn't have a kit.
Yeah, trying to take this one down would be damn near impossible. So Cloud9 will get that 12th round. Just being able to establish that mid control, the way they worked up connector, just so swift. And so they're hanging around in this game. So we definitely have a close one on our hands here. It's been nice.
(14-12). Here is the opening pick that gave Cloud9 an excellent opportunity, and of course it was in the hands of Skadoodle, who got himself a second later in the round. Now Fnatic do have a buy, but you can see there, Flusher on $0, a couple players around 1,000.
That's good to see Skadoodle playing like this. He actually had a really great America's Minor. People have been feeling like for a while online he's starting to get back in better form after a period where he just wasn't the same guy that was at one point in the arguments for being one of the best operators in the world next to Guardian. And that summer run in 2015, he kind of slowed down for a while, but he seems like he's really picked up the pace over the last few months in regional play, and now he's doing pretty well here against Fnatic. As we are in round number 27, still a good buy for Fnatic. Cloud9 slowing things down a bit here, just some standard mid control.
Yeah, both teams have been fairly slow on their T sides. Haven't seen too many explosive strategy plays put in motion early in the round.
It's also interesting positioning. Usually it's Stewie who plays outside the A-bombs. I think that's actually Shroud over there, who normally plays B Apartments. I think it's because they just want Stewie to be able to be a part of this entry force that's going to come from underpass and connector, as he is one of the more, you know, initiators on the team. So it makes sense to kind of shuffle that around, and so he will lead the way. A little bit of a crossfire Fnatic has here on connector with JW and Window and Flusha here on the stairs.
Well, he's not going to burn anyone too deep on this occasion. Cloud9 up just next to the entrance, and Flusha will oblige with 1 kill. Dennis from short, but fair play to nothing. He actually comes back with an insta headshot of his own. JW from CT boxes. And the cohesion that we saw earlier for Cloud9 seems to be disintegrating. Time itself is also an enemy. Nice shot by Skadoodle onto JW, but the strength in numbers. And the Swedes now have 3 match points.
Yeah, again, it was Cloud9 looking for a similar situation in the last round that they won, right? Just trying to get up connector, trying to make things happen. But Fnatic just shut it down. Again, 4 players in the 20s for this Fnatic team. They are certainly almost firing on all cylinders. even if Olaf's had a little bit of a tougher time, he hasn't really been asked to do a whole heck of a lot here. Cloud9 trying to pick up the pace, coming into the A-bomb site rapidly. They have the entry on the Flusha. So it looks like they should be able to get this bomb planted.
Again, though, even if the bomb does get planted, there's a lot of firepower and there's plenty of utility plus kits. It's not a foregone conclusion. Nothing's fragged, though, is going to make things a lot more possible. But Dennis now is going to come through with 3 quick fire frags, not able to get a 4th. Automatic will stop the party for now. But is he just delaying the inevitable, or is he actually going to clutch this one out? He's made himself 1 step closer.
Oh, man.
Crims against Automatic. Positionally, Automatic now has the edge in the sense that he had the bomb planted, but Crims from behind from CT boxes will put him down. And Fnatic will take their first map here at DreamHack Summer 2017.
So again, Cloud9 will be denied a map win against Fnatic. They defend their home soil here on the Swedish side. Well done. Brilliant individual play for most of their players. And like you said, 4 of their guys were in the 20s region. This was just a big play from Dennis to close this thing down from up top. Lining up that spray, the transfer, so on point on the Skadoodle. So just great stuff from the Swedes. They take a map here to open things up. They'll move on to one of those winners matches later on.
I don't think it's necessarily a terrible side for Cloud9, though. They started really poorly. Fnatic were, what, 5-6-1 up at one stage. They came back 8-7 half. And they even started well in the second half. They got the first 4 rounds. But then Fnatic just showed up again and showed exactly what they're capable of doing. 16-12. Fnatic moved through now.
Yeah, I mean, it was guys, you know, like JW who was able to get opening picks with the AWP. It was Fnatic shifting into more aggressive mid setups, like pushing down to the back of Catwalk, denying Cloud9 free space. And you know, just individual form shining through on some of their players, like big individual plays. Crims had a big hat trick spray down on A ramp in the second half that was pretty massive. You had Dennis right there with that big play to be able to close out the game right then and there. And so again, it's just like Fnatic being prided on individual levels, and they were all very high for 4 out of 5 players.
Yep, even with Olaf having a poor performance, they still come out ahead. We have an interview with Pala lined up on the stage, so take it away, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hometown heroes have done it. They won their first best of 1 of the day. Put your hands together. Cheering yourself there, Olaf. Are you proud of that performance?
Of my performance?
In general, or yourself, whichever you prefer.
I'm really proud of my performance. I felt like I played extremely well. Maybe the stats didn't show that, but I'm really proud. No, but we played really good as a team, and I'm thankful for my teammates. I didn't even feel that I played that bad. I just got, I don't know, fucked and out of place all the time. I don't know. Just felt weird.
Well, talking about you guys as a team, it seems like there is an increasing amount of cohesion maybe with the way you guys are playing. Are you happy with the current situation on the team and performances that you guys are having?
If we're happy with our performances, something is wrong. We're of course not happy with our results lately, but we are talking about it and trying to fix everything, just grinding every day. And I think we wanted it to go a lot faster than it has, and maybe that has shown. But we think that we will become better, and we're pretty sure of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the other side of that, as opposed to like recent things and over time, maybe not getting the performances that you've wanted, today, it looks like you're maybe starting to get some momentum.
Yeah, of course, we are getting momentum, but still it's a best of 1. We need to prove it in a best of 3, and we're working for it. But it felt good. We played really good at seat, actually.
Who would you say the toughest competition here is for you guys?
Singularity.
Okay, and why is that?
No, of course it's SK Gaming.
SK Gaming are potentially the favourites going into this, and who knows, you might play them later on in the competition. Olaf, are there any final words that you would like to say? The crowd, of course, is still hanging around. I'm sure you're going to have to sign many signatures and take many photos after this.
Yeah, it's going to be fun times. But I just want to say thank you to all of you that's shown up, and it's always fun to play in front of the Swedish crowd. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Olaf, for your time. As always, it's a pleasure to speak to you. Now, Alex and the guys will head back to the Corsair analyst desk to break everything down.
Thank you very much, Parla. Yeah, getting to hear from Olaf as the attitude continues. It is just, we are not going to be happy until we're winning every tournament we attend. And I mean, I guess you got to reach, that's the reach, and that's what they've done in the past. It makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's healthy. I think instead of just thinking that the same old stagnant way can work eventually, you actually realize that we have to do something. We can't be content with just, exactly. It's different between doing and talking about things, right? And also having the mindset of like, yeah, we're winning a couple of games here and there, and that's nice. It's an improvement, but it's obviously not that's not our final goal.
Yeah.
So, you know, they have their eyes on their prize, and I think they're getting step by step closer to realizing how they're going to achieve that.
Fair enough. Now, Jacob, what did you make of this one? Getting to see, well, Olaf saying he doesn't normally play BAPS.
We were both all surprised by why he was playing BAPS, actually.
Yeah, but he also, whilst also admitting he was uncomfortable, they felt comfortable on their CT side. We got to see some of that.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you have to sacrifice. Like if another player plays his spots better, then you gotta go somewhere where you're not comfortable. But as he said himself, like they played a great CT side, so that might be for the good. I think we got to see what we expected, sort of. Like, Cloud9 was playing well. It was a close game. They had, like, was it a 12-9 lead or something? Yeah. Along those lines. Then lost an eco, and it kind of changed from that. Yeah, exactly. It could have gone Cloud9's way. Still, I'd say we saw Fnatic be the better team. We saw the retakes, especially on the A side. They were, like, on point for Fnatic. A bit chaotic for Cloud9, maybe. But it was very close, like, down to an error each round, so it could have gone both ways.
Yeah, no, and again, it's cool to see, obviously, both teams having different ways. For me, like, the big takeaway from that, with how different Fnatic are playing, is first off how slow they were as T initially to start off the game. Very slow pace compared to what they did. They would take mid control and they would just kind of sit around, eventually vacate the area, and just not necessarily do anything before there was like 25 seconds left in a round. And so not necessarily getting into a hurry with anything. Same thing on the CT side, actually just having the patience to do a ton of retakes. They were happy to give up A side any given time. Maybe like have the initial duel, see if they can get an initial frag or something. If that doesn't happen, back off, reset.
Right.
Let the T side smokes and all that kind of stuff fade out, and then you have the a bit of an upper hand again.
And I imagine it does bear repeating or discussing that you can't play for the retakes on every map, right? Mirage, especially A side, attributes it to that. That needs to be highlighted, that the retake strategy that Fnatic was employing would not necessarily work on say, Nuke.
Cobble. Like, a lot of maps where it doesn't necessarily like end well if you set up for a retake, but certain maps do definitely lend themselves to it a lot more, and I think the Mirage A side is probably the most prime one, considering how you can utilize your nade, how many points of attack you can actually have going into it, even as a CT, which normally means, when you're doing an afterplant, you will be forced into a certain position that's obviously going to not be as beneficial, but that's not necessarily the case on that map.
That sound about right to you?
Yeah, it's also like, to me, it's a showcase of what Fnatic has become, because in their prime when they were winning each tournament, like they wouldn't get it down to a retake scenario. They would like kill the opponents before that happened. Exactly. Like, and it seems like now they admitted to themselves that might not work for them anymore. So they like put on another aspect to the game, which is being able to retake on Mirage, which is a map that favors, as you said, retakes, especially on A side. So that's great to see it, that they are like not only like saying their thing about it, not only like showing, but it shows in the game.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just our final takeaways from Cloud9. We'll put them in a little box now. They fall to the lower bracket of their group. So Group B, Cloud9, lower bracket with Gambit.
Correct. Not an easy matchup.
That's a fiery one, best of 3.
Yeah, no, that should actually make for a really, really fun matchup to see. We also got to see, to highlight one of the Cloud9 players. Obviously, was one of the ones who's been a bit in and out, actually, because of health issues, but Ska was performing very well this game, showing that he's still able to bring it to, some of the best toppers in Europe, and that's a really, really good sign for Cloud9.
On that topic, Scar is regarded as quite a passive AWPer, not someone that's going to run into your face, and he's the opposite of what KNG was doing at times.
Yeah.
So my question is, does that make Cloud9's T side weaker?
Can be.
Can you passively T AWP? I mean,
it's rough, but it depends on what team you have around you. Look, because they have like automatic and they have Stu.
They walk in first.
Exactly, and that's like having Stu in your team. That's enough aggression just there, So. It might fit in well, but I'd say like most of the great AWPers are good on T side as well. Like Kenny is, the likes of Kenny is, the likes of Henny, for example, Guardian, like they're good on T side as well. Whereas Skadul he's known for being like a very static AWPer. He's known for being very solid as CT. Maybe not as flashy as T, but like he's at least where you got him. Whereas a player like Henny, you sometimes don't know where you have him. So it can both be good and it can hurt you as well.
Yeah, no, it's been something that teams have done for a long, long time as well. Like they've been able to have success with passive AWPers on the T side as well. Even if you want to go back to CSS, if you remember the American teams like Team Dynamic and that kind of stuff, who would post up 2 AWPers on each side of the map and have it like a trio
Just
with
running
rifles
around.
running around trying to force rotations, and you have turrets on each side of the map, seeing if anything happens, they get picked off.
What year is it, Grandad?
I mean, now we're rolling back the years, but guys like Adern was still playing, so
yeah, no, it's still relevant.
it's still relevant. But it could definitely work with the T side, like Opera, who's not necessarily going in first or trying to find that first pick each and every time. But obviously, I don't think it's a negative at all to have an Opera who is able to do both. That's obviously,
as always, there's always depth to the game, and that's something that we are always learning here at Analyst Desks at competitive CS:GO tournaments. Is there's so many ways to play the same game.
Yeah, and I guess you can argue what's the most beneficial though, like whether or not you want to have someone like a Kenji or a Henny in your team, or if you want a Scott. But I guess that's all surrounded. Like it comes down to the total package, what kind of players you have surrounding that Opera.
Exactly.
Okay, well with that said, it's time for us to venture into the upper bracket games. One team will be getting a day off tomorrow. Yes, indeed. A day off is on the cards in our next game. Another best of one map, and a team can put their feet up ready for the semi-finals. We are going to take a break. Before we do so, another reminder of one of our sponsors. It's Boomio, who have been putting up a lot of work into the CS scene as of late. The Jewels is something that we're particularly promoting. It enables you to go ahead and train in a more effective way. Not getting their phrasing is really good. Why get shot in the back in Dust 2 to prepare for a game on Mirage?
It's very true.
Absolutely. Well, go check it out for yourself, and when we do come back, it is time for some best of one action. One of the teams between, I think it's actually going back into Group A. We get SK going to be battling with none other than Immortals. That's going to be going on after the break. Join us as the Brazilians clash.